Carl Schaefer, and I'm here to introduce this wonderful young lady over here, Lizanne Rohde, and I'll do that in just a couple of minutes. But I would like to indicate that this is about the first time that the Emeritus Society is videotaping anything. And so I wanted to point that out because we're going to be putting this onto the web page and having Lizanne's remarks. Hopefully my remarks will not be on the videotape, but anyway. And Myron, this is a pretty good thing, right, to do this? And Myron and Quincy and Hank Janowski are our web folks, and they've done a wonderful job, and I recommend those of you who haven't visited the web page either frequently or at all, I recommend that you do that because it's really an important indication of the Emeritus Society. We had somebody say to us the other day that the Emeritus Society is strictly a Philadelphia-based operation, and I want to say that that's totally incorrect, that we are a national organization and that we're trying to get people to become members of clubs not only here in the States but all over the world, and we hope that the Emeritus presence will be felt. And so those of you who see these remarks will volunteer to be the Emeritus member in the Houston Club or the Detroit Club or the Hong Kong Club or whatever. This videotaping is particularly poignant for me because this young man who's doing the videotaping, his name is Doug, and he has a name that's as long as your arm, and I couldn't possibly tell you what his last name was. But we're very fond of his parents, and we're particularly fond of his grandmother, who is here today, Eleanor Murdoch. Eleanor, we're delighted that you're here. And Doug's step-grandfather was a Wharton graduate, which makes Eleanor very smart because she married a Wharton guy. And her husband, Larry Murdoch, was the class of '57, and Quincy and I were both in that class, but neither one of us knew him. Isn't that right, Quincy? But he spent most of his time at the Fed, and as I told Lizanne, I spent most of my time in the library, which was near Smokey Joe's, I think is what it was. So we're delighted, Doug, that you're doing this. I'd like to comment on, we have a committee called Then and Now in the Emeritus Society, and when we all were at Wharton, it was almost like a 19th century operation. It was a black and white. It was two-dimensional. But today we've gone through a third dimension. We're into a fourth dimension, which I'm sure Lizanne will point out. And the Wharton that we knew there, with just one building there, and Don Blankertz, who was sort of a black and white kind of guy as well, he was my mentor, and I loved Don Blankertz. But he wasn't a hail fellow, well met, or anything of that nature. But today, the Wharton School is a kaleidoscope of technicolor. I mean, there's so much going on at the Wharton School today, it's almost incomprehensible. And nobody can tell that story better than Lizanne. And just to give you just a little bit of background about her, she is the Director of Alumni Affairs, if that's the correct title. She travels all over the country, all over the world. She told me that while she was in Paris, supposedly doing work for the Wharton School, she ran in the Paris Marathon in April, and that was and she is going to talk, I think, about lifelong learning, but maybe knowledge at Wharton and all these other things that, by the way, are available on our webpage. I don't know how to use them, Myron, but maybe you can tell me. I don't know. But Lizanne went to Georgetown, then she got a law degree at Villanova. She became a partner of a prestigious law firm here in Philadelphia. She worked for the Springside Chestnut Hill Academy in an important position, and before she came to Wharton, her two daughters go to Springside Chestnut Hill. Our two daughters, Kathy's and mine, went to Springside Chestnut Hill, and two of our boys taught and coached there. And she runs by our house all the time getting ready for the next marathon, and it's a great pleasure to introduce Liz Ann Rohde.
Thank you so much, Carl, and thank you all for being here. I want to welcome the classes of 1952, 57, 62, and 67. I truly am delighted to be here and feel very, very privileged to work for the Wharton School. I also want to give a special welcome to one member of the class of 1999 who is not a member of the Emeritus Society yet, but my husband David Rohde is Wharton grad 99 and has joined us here tonight. I really would like to give a special thank you to Carl, as well as to Jack Smith, one of the co-founders of your group, Jean DeRay, your chairman, for organizing this. I started at Wharton less than 2 years ago, and in the first few weeks that I was here, I was immediately welcomed by Jack, who was turning the reins over to Carl. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to meet with Carl a couple times over the last year and a half at his home in Chestnut Hill, and trade Chestnut Hill stories and share a history at our daughter's school, but more importantly, to understand what his goals are for this group. And I mean it when I say that to stand in front of you, a group of about 30 who are critical to Wharton's history and the link to our future. The very best part of my job is traveling all over the world and meeting with people like you who are one of 92,000 alumni all over the world. I want to give a very, very special welcome to Helen Liftig, class of 1958, and Mary Lou Doherty, class of 1966. And the reason I want to specially welcome you, you are two alumnae in the group tonight, and I want to just talk a little bit about the growth of Wharton since you were there. Helen told me when I met her earlier tonight that she was one of 5 women in her class. I mean, right now, the entering MBA class is over 40% women. And that is a huge accomplishment for Wharton. We're very proud of it, and here's why. Women are 52% of the talent pool in the world. We are ahead of all of our peer schools in the population of women in our MBA class, which means that we're ahead of our peer schools in the population of women in our alumni class. So thank you both, Mary Lou and Helen, for being ahead of your time, for spearheading what we're very, very proud of, a growing alumni population for Wharton. We're focused on you, and we're proud of you. I hope you all read your Wharton magazine this month is a focus on our alumni. So not at all to take away from the men in the room, but it is a real thrill and honor to have you here. I also just want to echo Carl's thanks to Myron, Quincy, and Hank for your work on the webpage. Again, you're at the forefront for digital involvement and connectivity for our alumni. And that's actually what my job is. Jean very graciously asked me, what is it that I do? And so I want you all to know what I'm responsible for, along with my team member, Helen Formanes, who I know you all know. She does great, great work on behalf of your group. And Tanya Rourke, raise your hand. Tanya is also a new member of our team who will support your efforts. We are so committed to alumni engagement at Wharton that that's what I'm responsible for. That's it, engagement and the relations of 92,000 alumni all over the world. It's my responsibility to lead a team of 12 professionals who are responsible to support both your connectivity to the school, but more importantly, your connectivity to each other, because you are Wharton. I had the distinct pleasure of being at the Joseph Wharton dinner in New York last month, and I heard from Al Shoemaker, a Wharton grad who's an Emeritus Society member. I heard from a young alum who won the Young Leadership Award. I heard from a member of my husband's class of 1999, and I heard from Kenny Beck, who's the president of the Wharton Club, the class of 1985. They all stood up in front of a room of 150 people and said, "We went to Wharton. You are our pride. You are our strongest asset, and you are our ambassadors. And the only thing that we ask that you do is talk about Wharton. You are better than a tagline. You are better than a marketing plan. You are our best asset, and we're so proud." In a given month, I'm in front of 30 of you in Philadelphia. I was in front of 5 in Panama last week and 500 in Paris in October. It is truly a privilege to be part of this community. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on at Wharton. We are staying very relevant and very ahead of the times. Things have really changed since you've been there in possibly good ways. The first thing that we're doing for you as alumni is we have put a tremendous amount of resources behind lifelong learning. Lifelong learning is our commitment to the alumni community. It is basically our partnership or contract with you to provide you with educational resources throughout your lifetime. That can be live at an event on campus or in regions where you live and work. That can be digitally through webinars, our online community with Wharton Connect. Knowledge at Wharton has 2 million subscribers. 2 million people all over the world in 4 languages get online and take advantage of the resources at Wharton. It falls right in line with something that's very important to Dean Robertson, which is we are the best business school in the world for the world. It's a pretty heady, presumptuous remark, but having been at Wharton for almost 19 months, we actually deserve that title. We're doing amazing, amazing things, and our reach is far. Our reach is so far that we are about to hang our shingle in Beijing. I'm very, very proud to tell you that we are behind our global mission and creating a very, very strong presence in the largest country in the world. The Penn Wharton China Center will open next year in Beijing, and it will be a presence for Penn and Wharton right in the center of Beijing. It will serve our faculty, our admissions, and our alumni relations for all 12 schools at Penn and Wharton. And significantly for Wharton, it will be a place for executive education. That is a very, very strong footprint in Asia, and we're very, very excited about it. I will give a small pitch about our presence in Beijing that we'll be there in June with alumni relations for the Wharton Global Forums. The forums are another way that we bring Wharton to you, wherever you are in the world. We were in Paris in October, we were in Tokyo last May, and next year we'll be in Panama, Beijing, and in 2015 we'll be in Bangkok. So we're committed to bringing Wharton to you, our alumni, wherever you are, all over the world or digitally. Another 2 very exciting things I want to tell you about. I could talk all night about what's going on at Wharton. We have the Wharton Public Policy Initiative it is in Washington, D.C. And it is a joint venture with Penn and Wharton. And we really looked at where Washington, D.C. is, where Penn and Wharton are, and where is New York. And geographically, as well as philosophically, Wharton and Penn are going to be a link between public policy makers in Washington, D.C. and business in New York. So it is a resource for policymakers. It is a hub of research for our faculty and our students. So we have a footprint in D.C., we have a footprint in San Francisco, and we have a footprint in Beijing. The last footprint that we're talking about and we're excited about this year is our virtual footprint with SiriusXM Radio. Next year we will launch business radio sponsored by Wharton. 24 hours of business radio. We will have a studio on campus. It's channel 111. We will have Wharton faculty, Wharton alumni, and invited guests talking about business, giving our education out to the public, out to our alumni. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to thank all of you for coming. And more importantly, I'm going to thank you for your commitment to Wharton. To see you all here celebrating your reunions is a true thrill and a privilege. I want to thank you, Carl, and all of you for being part of the community that we call Wharton. If I can quote the alumni that we were with in New York City, we are Wharton, we are proud of you. Thank you so, so much for everything you do. Carl has asked me to open it up for questions if any of you have any.
Well, I have one.
Sure.
Lizanne, what is lifelong learning? I mean, if one of us wanted to do anything about it, how do we do it?
Okay. So we define lifelong learning at Wharton as all education beyond your degree. So lifelong learning, we have a website. We upload our video content. We upload lectures by Wharton professors. They range from 45 minutes to maybe about 90 minutes on a variety of topics. All of our master classes and guest speakers that are featured at our Wharton Global Forums are also uploaded by video. We have a monthly webinar series, and then we also have knowledge at Wharton. That is all fed through the Lifelong Learning website that you can access through the alumni website. It's like a library or a classroom that changes weekly. Did that answer your question?
Well, yes. I mean, it's on our webpage, right? Right,
Yeah.
Margaret?
It's linked up.
Have you ever gone to it and tried to?
You get today's faculty telling you the issues that they think are important.
That's exactly
Great
right.
learning.
Yeah. And Lifelong Learning Live is Wharton faculty on the road. It is delivered through our clubs all over the world. We'll be in New York next week. We have 200 young alumni signed up to hear Richard Schell talk about his new book in New York City next week. Our Lifelong Learning Tour, we were calling it a tour, although I promise that there is no bus. We have made a commitment to go to 20 cities in 24 months. We're about halfway there. We have been in Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Munich, Mexico City. We'll be in Sao Paulo next week. What that looks like and feels like for the alumni is it's the Wharton classroom. We create an event, we have a cocktail reception, and then we have a master class on a topic that is relevant to the region. The other key thing to lifelong learning is that it is designed around your needs. It is content that is designed based on alumni feedback. We have lifelong learning sessions at Reunion. We have lifelong learning sessions at the Global Forums, and then we have everything online.
How
Jack.
is the public policy being accepted in Washington by politicians?
We had over 200 people in the room the week before Obamacare was announced and finalized, and we had 3 Wharton faculty members give a panel. We had quite a few, no senators, but senior staffers in the room. We are presenting the PPI is what we're calling it. It is a Penn Wharton Public Policy Initiative. We are presenting it as a resource to Washington. We look at it as an opportunity where Wharton can do good. It was the brainchild of some faculty members as well as some alumni who said, there is a void here. There is a space that needs to be filled where Washington doesn't understand business and business doesn't understand the mechanics of public policy. It's still new enough. It was just launched last year. We have space. We have an executive director. It's our hope that we are seen as a nonpartisan resource for journalists, politicians, staffers, policymakers to really be a conduit of information. Stay tuned. Thank you. No, thank all of you so much.
My name is John Machane. My wife's name is Elizabeth Machane, Betsy. She's a Chestnut Hill graduate. We get up to Philly quite a bit. I graduated in 1958 from the Wharton Graduate School. Undergraduate, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in 1953, and then 2 years in the Air Force, and that brought me to Wharton. My career has been in aerospace. Saw the evolution of from airplanes into rockets into satellites. I currently work not for, but with the Goddard Space Flight Center in the business of getting satellites into the air and helping get business for little people. What can WGS do for Wharton today? Well, you know, I really enjoy working with these people. I enjoy meeting these people. I enjoy being with the Wharton Graduate Emeritus Society. I think they're fine guys. I think the experience that they have, the integrity that they seem to have, would be a benefit to the school. Frankly, I'm not quick on my feet when it comes to talk, and I think a lot of our younger folks may be more interested in the rewards downstream, and perhaps we can add a little perspective to that and hey, make a better world, make a better country. My reason for coming up to homecoming, well, I really didn't come to homecoming. What I did was I came up to the Wharton School to see these folks, to be involved with these folks, and to just have this experience.
Hi, I'm Grant Griepentrag, and I came to Philadelphia to go to the Wharton School for an MBA in the 50s, and I graduated in the class of 1960. And I have lived here for 50 years, and I still like the city very much. And of course, Wharton is very different from when I was there, but it's just a fabulous place, and I had a good experience. I spent most of my career in, actually a lot of it in education, in academic publishing, and also I did teach at another university in an area of design and merchandising. And let's see, my wife of 40 years, she spent her career with a communications company. And I love the Graduate Emeritus Society. It's a good thing to get involved. I think the important thing is if you're thinking about it, just talk it up with people, you know, with your friends, with which may have grandchildren thinking about graduate school. And another thing is don't forget to send a check now and then. That's really important because we want to build up our resources. And let's see. Oh, why did I come to dinner? Because it's only about 5 miles from where I live. So it was really easy. It was great. I hope more of you come next year. Thanks.
Hi, I'm DeWitt Peterson. I live in Morristown, New Jersey. I went to Wharton School in 1956, majored in management. I spent 16 years in industry as a controller, human relations manager, engineering manager, and then I joined Burlington County College as the head of business programs. The Graduate Emeritus Society, best it can do is to keep promoting Wharton and keep up its reputation.